Hey guys, Theron Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another exciting podcast. Tonight we're going back to the Great Lakes Division BFL. This past weekend we had the BFL tournament on the Mississippi River out of LaCrosse. Mark Myers from Iowa, he did really, really well in the tournament. He's going to give a kind of a recap on how the event unfolded this last weekend. He's going to talk about different baits, for fishing on the Mississippi River and techniques this time of year. We're kind of in that late May, post-spawn, getting into the summertime. So Mark's going to give us a great insight to fishing up there in Wisconsin this time of year on the Mississippi River. Before we get started, Revital Outdoors is proud to announce we are still accepting entries into our $2,500 giveaway. To enter this giveaway, all you have to do is hit the link on the top of the description right below this video. It takes 3 seconds to enter, and I promise you every angler out there is going to want a chance to win this one. We've got great companies such as Flambeau Outdoors, The Rod Glove, Costa Del Mar, Seagar, Lou, Strike King, and Tackle Warehouse in on this $2,500 giveaway sweepstakes package. And again, every angler out there will be very pleased to win this one. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. That's Revital Outdoors. And if you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, we're a premium CBD company. We offer premium CBD products to all the outdoor enthusiasts out there. Our products are THC-free and right here in America. Very, very important to us to be a worker-friendly brand. You can purchase them directly off our website. That's revitaloutdoors.com. And, that being said, let's go ahead and bring Mark directly into the studio. From the great state of Iowa, Mark, how you doing this evening?
Hey, Theron, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. So, man, let's just get right into it. The second Great Lakes BFL tournament was this past weekend. Pretty strong finish. Give us a little recap. What kind of happened? What's the river doing right now?
So the river had been on a kind of steady rise for about 10 days before the event. Mm-hmm. We had a real cold, wet spring, and then just all of a sudden it got summertime, like 90s and sunny, and the fish just kind of poured to the bank. That said, before our tournament, it did cool down a bit. And I think it was the Thursday night before the event, we just had torrential rain. I don't know how much it rained, but it was several inches. And that brought a lot of mud into the system and changed things up a lot right before the event.
Right. So, okay. Were you able to target largemouth or smallmouth?
I fished for both. I spent a couple days fishing before the event. I spent one day down on pool 9, and then the second day I spent in the pool 8 that's out of LaCrosse. It was a little bit of a frustrating practice. I was catching fish doing a lot of different things in a lot of different areas, but they were all kind of the same size. I was having trouble getting bigger bites, and the bigger bites that I did get seemed pretty random. So in the end, I decided to kind of hunker down in an area in pool 8. And it was an area that I was getting a lot of quality bites, and I was getting both species in real close proximity to one another, which I always like, just because it kind of gives you options to maximize your time and not run around a lot. So that's what I did.
Okay. Do you think the fish were kind of in that post-spawn period, chasing fry garden, what was going on? Also, I heard a weird report on Facebook that there was a big mayfly hatch happening.
I didn't get into the mayfly hatch. I think in that event, we definitely had fish in all 3 stages of the spawn. Down in pool 9 on Thursday, I caught some big, fat, pre-spawn smallmouths. And then some of the fish that I caught during the event looked like they had already spawned. And I know I talked to a lot of guys who had some fish on beds as well. So, a lot of fish spawned during that warm-up we had. That was probably the biggest wave of fish up for the year. But there were still fresh fish coming into spawn as well. They're definitely all 3 stages. I ended up fishing primarily. I was swim jig fishing. I had an area where there were a couple dead end backwater cuts that had some nice largemouth in them, and then out in front of that in the slough mouths there were some little islands and things that had some current eddies and seams, and caught some nice smallmouth out there. The biggest fish I weighed on tournament day was my first fish of the day. It was about a 3.5 pound smallmouth.
Okay. When I think about the upper Mississippi out of LaCrosse, obviously Tom Monsour, legendary angler, he lives there. He's really notorious for what I'm fixing to talk about. when we talk about bass fishing around the country, we think about Texas as the guys making their own custom football head jigs, their skirts. They're very particular about it. There's several jig companies and spinnerbait companies that came out of that area. We think about East Tennessee guys, making their own flat-sided crankbaits. And then to me, that upper Mississippi area, that Wisconsin area, guys are really honed in on making their own swim jigs. So do you make your own? And if you do or if you don't, what makes a good swim jig for fishing the upper Mississippi?
The one I caught him on in the event was a Lethal Weapon swim jig. It's a local company out of LaCrosse there. It's a great swim jig. I was fishing a 3/8 ounce black and blue with a blue grub on it. That's what I caught most of my fish on. I did catch a few on a chatterbait, and I caught a few flipping a beaver around some wood and stuff as well. But yeah, I do also make some of my own swim jigs. Tie some skirts and some special colors at different times of the year. But right now, with the water high and a little off colored, it's hard to beat just a straight up black and blue jig for me. But what makes a good swim jig? There's a lot of vegetation. There's different kinds of swim jigs too. You got your swim jigs that have real light weed guards that are just for swimming through lighter cover and grass and things. The one I was using this event was a little bit more rugged. It had a heavier weed guard in it, and that was just because I was fishing around some wood as well. So I could also, I could bring it through the vegetation real easy. But then if I saw a piece of wood that I wanted to swim it by, I could do that without getting hung too much. So the swim jig bite was good for me. That's what I caught most of my fish on during the week.
Okay. Are you a guy that likes to throw braid or fluorocarbon with your swim jig?
I throw braid. I throw a braid with a heavy, short fluorocarbon leader on it usually. And again, that fluorocarbon leader is for getting up around that wood. Just having a little bit short stretch of fluorocarbon there prevents you from hanging up on the wood.
I got you. So you were throwing a swim jig this weekend. I just got to ask, how many toothy critters did you run across?
I caught some, but not too many this time. One of the days in practice, I went down to the Stoddard area and was throwing a buzz bait, and I saw some big ones that ate right by the boat. But during the event, I didn't go down there, and I caught a few pike, but not too many.
I got you. So, Mark, you're sitting pretty well in points, looking toward that regional again this year. I looked up your profile on Major League Fishing. You've got a great reputation as a weekend angler up there in the state of Wisconsin. So looking forward to the rest of the year, what are some goals that you have for yourself?
Every year I want to make the regional, and I think probably my biggest goal in fishing now, I've qualified for the All-American once, and it's to get back to that All-American. It's kind of the apex for a weekend angler like myself. So that's always at the top of the list. And then, every year trying to put myself into position to win an event. That's always a goal as well. So, the rest of the year, typically the earlier in the season events are the ones that I tend to struggle with more. So once we get into summer and fall, that's really my time. I like fishing when the water's lower and you can get out off the bank and find schools of fish offshore. And so I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Good for you, Mark. Well, Mark, also checking out your Facebook profile. You got a great family. You got a great support system. Seems like you got a great career for yourself, and those guys are not only giving you a career, but they're supporting your fishing as well. Anybody like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned my family. My wife and kids are supportive of this addiction. It's kind of crazy. I still love it so much. Like I get off the water after a tournament, didn't quite go how I wanted, and my first inclination is to get back out there. It's just something that I love to do, and having the support of my wife and kids and my parents means a lot. I mentioned Lethal Weapon swim jigs. Scott Gartner out of LaCrosse runs Island Outdoors. It's a local tackle shop there. Anything you possibly need to catch a bass on the Mississippi River, you can find there a quarter mile from the ramp at Island Outdoors. So Scott's been a big support over the years. And then you mentioned, I'm a faculty member at the University of Northern Iowa. I'm also the faculty advisor to the UNI Fishing Club. So that's been really fun. We got a lot of talented young anglers. We've got some tournament teams. We've got some of the best ice fishermen competitive ice fishermen in the upper Midwest. We've got some really good multi-species anglers. So it's been really fun interacting with those guys and sharing my passion for fishing and learning about other kinds of fishing that they like to do as well. So, it's a cool sport. I enjoy it. I enjoy the tournament fishing, but I enjoy all other kinds of fishing as well. And looking to get back after it at Fox River in a couple weeks here.
Absolutely. So, well, Mark, really appreciate you taking time this evening to come onto our podcast. For all the listeners out there, we've been talking to Mr. Mark Myers, a solid BFL angler with the Great Lakes Division. He just got done fishing the LaCrosse, Wisconsin, Mississippi River event. That was the second event of the Great Lakes Division. So good luck to Mark for the rest of the year. Good luck to all the anglers fishing the BFL Great Lakes Division. Before we let you go, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Also, you've been watching the scrolling banner below this video. Make sure you hit that link at the top of the description right below this video. It just takes a few seconds to enter our $2,500 sweepstakes giveaway package. I promise you every angler out there is going to want a chance to win this one. So make sure to go ahead and get in and hit that link. From all of us at Revital Outdoors, I'm Theron Asbury. Thank you for tuning in to another great podcast. Be safe out there, guys. God bless. We'll talk to everyone very, very soon.